Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast. The Hawks lose 3-1 to the Flames in Calgary in a disappointing game. Not a disappointing effort, but a disappointing outcome. I'm Jay Zawaski, Greg Boysen, Mario Tirabassi.
Hello.
Lawrence is over there.
What's up?
Everybody's here.
Yep.
The whole crew's here. It's a big night here at CHGO Sports, and we got a lot to get to in this one. Do us a favor. Smash that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, make sure you're not just listening. Make sure you are following and subscribed and all that stuff. And leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We're going to name the 4th star of the game. We're going to talk about who's your Hawk. We're hoping to hear from Luke Richardson during the show. But real quick, let's recap the scoring. In the first period, the Flames jump out to an early lead after about 4 minutes of no whistles to start the game. I think the first whistle was at the 16-minute mark. The Flames make it 1-0. Matt Coronado.
They made up for the whistles later.
Yeah, they sure did. They got your money's worth
game
later.
Grinded to a slow pace later.
Yeah, definitely. Matt Coronado pokes a puck in that kind of went over the net and then deflected back in front. And Peter Mrazek, way out of his crease, had sort of lost where the puck was. And Coronado outmuscled Connor Murphy on the front, was able to poke it in. 10 seconds later, though, Nick Foligno buzzes in front of Dustin Wolf with a nice screen. Seth Jones puts a shot through. Foligno tips it in. What's great about that is Foligno wins the draw clean to Alec Martinez, who gets it over to Seth Jones. Jones flips it, and again, Foligno right in front, goes right from the faceoff circle to in front of the net, and good things happen when you do that. 13:30 into the second period. Andrei Kuzmenko with a power play goal. The Hawks were on a delayed penalty. Nick Foligno had a pending slashing call, so it's about to be 5-on-3. Hawks totally out of gas, and Kuzmenko scores. And then in the third, after a pretty decent push for the Hawks with the empty net, Matt Coronado scores his second goal of the game, assisted by Huberdeau. He kind of beat Connor Bedard into the zone, but Bedard had been on the ice for almost 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Trying to get that equalizer, just completely out of gas. So your 3 stars in this one for Peter Mrazek was number 3, stopping 23 of 25 shots by the Flames. Matt Coronado scored both 2 of the 3 Flames goals, and Dustin Wolf stopped 31 of 32 Blackhawks shots. So there you go. There's our nice Wolf sound effects. Wrong team. Alec Martinez, Seth Jones, and Philip Kurashev are your 4th star nominees. So get your votes in, and we'll reveal the winner towards the end. But like I said, the start, fellas, no problems with the effort, no problem with the game, really. Just Wolf was a goal better than Mrazek.
Yeah, I think Dustin Wolf had a pretty solid game. I think there were a few opportunities tonight where shots could have been a little more challenging on him, but credit to the Blackhawks that, they outshot an opponent. They controlled a lot of the, controlled a good portion of the offense, not the entire game, but definitely a good portion of it at times. It was a game that kind of flowed back and forth with the momentum. First period was pretty even. I'd say the Blackhawks had, the upper hand, even though it finished 1-1. Second period, first half, Blackhawks were all over the Flames, and then it completely flipped the other way in the second half of the second period. Third period started off all Blackhawks, and I think the Flames were kind of just weathering out the 2-1 lead and able to hold on and then get the empty netter. So, yeah, I mean, as far as, the effort levels, no problems there. Controlling the play. I mean, it was scrambly for both teams at times.
Ice did not look great.
Yeah,
a lot of bouncing pucks.
So I think they did as best as they could. I wouldn't say anyone was like egregiously bad tonight. TJ Brody had some rough plays, but he also had some good defensive plays as well to kind of make up for it. And Connor Bedard, he was super involved in the offense. Did he finish with 8 shots on goal? 7 shots on goal.
10 shot attempts.
I would have liked to have seen. I would like to have seen 8 shots on goal. There was a chance. I think it was in the second period where he had a 2-on-1, him and Foligno, and I think he was just holding it to like make the play, and it's just like, man, just rip it, just let it go. So yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. This felt like a game where they could have come away with at least a point. I think that the effort was at least 1 point worthy. So it's just frustrating to not come away with anything.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned a couple moments there where there could have been shots taken. But if that's, at the end of 60 minutes, if our biggest complaint is, there were 2 or 3 moments where they probably should have shot it. Okay, you can live with that. And I just, I think that there's going to be a lot of games like this because the Hawks just don't have a lot of players that can put the puck in the net. And like we were talking about it during the game, Tyler Bertuzzi, whenever you're ready. And I don't want to be hard on Taylor Hall, but Taylor Hall, whenever you're ready to put the puck in the back of the net, what? It's time. It's time for someone else besides Foligno, Teravainen, and Bedard, which just happens to be at the top line, to handle all the offense all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do need the Blackhawks do need some of that secondary scoring to start showing up. That second line has played well, Kurashev and Hall, but you got playing well, only goes so far. You got to start producing. I know we talked about Bertuzzi, and yes, it's 4 games on a new team and all this stuff, but for a guy that was brought in to be a physical presence and go to the dirty areas and be a difference maker and get under people's skin, haven't seen a whole lot of that yet.
No, I saw him. He grabs somebody in front of the net in the third period. I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's like, they I know it will come, but it seems to just be a lot of floating, a lot of just skating around, la-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
There's the puck. Like, I want to see more. I don't want to be right about how upset I was when they signed him.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to be right. This is one of the cases where I'm okay to be wrong because there's a lot more of Tyler Bertuzzi to come with a 4-year deal. It's 4 games into one season. I'm not making declarations if that was a good signing or not, but I need to see some more, and the sooner the better.
Hey, the 5th game is when he picks things up. Last year in Toronto, he had 1 point, -5 through 4 games, and then he had a 3-point night in his 5th game.
All right.
Here we go. Next game.
I'm pre-selecting him for Hoosier Hawk against San Jose.
For the home opener. Yeah, Bertuzzi, man, I if it is slow starts to the season, fine. But hopefully that 5th game is the the on switch, because I think we talking about it during the game, and to me it was just like he feels like the guy who's like playing down a level in beer league and is just kind of out there just to get the skate in and not necessarily to like really do anything to like impact the game. Like I know he had a few chances here and there, but it just seems like there needs to be a little bit more like oomph, a little bit more like take charge in his game.
A little more be a Bertuzzi.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Well, what you're
don't go
supposed
full
to-
Bertuzzi.
A little
Never
bit,
go full.
yeah.
You want to almost kill a guy on the
Yeah,
ice, but
don't go to 10, but at least go to 8
Could
right
you
now.
go to 6? I'll take 6.
I would.
right now.
Yeah, I would take that
Maybe
right
4.
now. So yeah, I mean it's. I don't want to throw a guy off the bus 4 games into a 4-year deal, 5-year deal, whatever it is. But yeah, would like to see a little bit more because the atmosphere of this team, the mentality of this team, they've tried to kind of ramp it up right away. This is a very veteran heavy team compared to last season, the 3rd oldest in the league. So, you shouldn't have to tell too many guys like, okay, let's go, let's pick it up. Like, here we go. Like, should be ready to go. Like, I know it's early in the season, but they've tried to instill this like hit the ground running kind of mentality, and we've seen it from some guys out there, but I'd love to see it like across the board. And I'd say Bertuzzi's one of the guys that, to my eye, is one of the ones that like needs to kind of pick up the pace a little bit here.
Here's something I want to point out in the positive realm. This is from our pal Talking Hockey, Jack Bushman. The Hawks' third line of Mikheyev, Dickinson, and Anderson, 5-on-5, 12-1 shot attempts, 2-1 shots on goal, 3-0 scoring chances. They had a 93.68 expected goals for. That's a dominant checking line. Sure. That's what you want to see from your checking line. The problem is the Hawks seem to have 3 checking lines.
I would like to see a goal, though.
Yes.
You can dominate all the fancy stats you want. I still want to see a goal.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, hey, just to call back to, what is it, Every Shift. I can't believe they left that in the documentary, but the last episode of Every Shift on the Blackhawks YouTube page is Norm McIver saying, "Where are the goals coming from?"
Yeah.
That's how they ended the episode. Almost to the point where I was like, are they making a trade today?
Are you did you meme that, right? You need
I did meme it. I don't know where I put
post that like after every one goal game.
I know.
It's a great tease for the next episode of Every Shift when they talk about
when we find out where the goals are going to come from.
Hopefully.
I don't know.
That won't be on this episode.
It's weird. It's
well, I mean, we did that little math exercise before the season where, if some of these guys that have scored 20 in a season before do it again, if Bedard hits, what do we say, 35, and all these forwards and defensemen kind of hit their average, you'd think, what do we say, 215 goals, which is still like bottom 4 in the league.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're going to need someone other than Bedard creating high quality chances, and the high danger chances tonight again were skewed in favor of the Flames. I think through the first 4 games, the Blackhawks haven't had the high danger chances advantage. They had the scoring chances advantage tonight, but not the high danger ones, and those are more high percentage of converting. You just like to you would like to see that number be a little bit higher, and whether that's, it seemed like the defensemen have been given the green light to put the puck on net, and I think they were doing a lot of trying to just get shots through traffic, which is good. I like seeing that. I think it's just kind of getting the forwards more in that mentality of like keeping in that zone. There seemed like there were a lot of shots through traffic with like a sweeping forward rather than a guy kind of planted right in front of the net being available for a rebound. Even the Foligno goal, he was sweeping in and got the stick on the puck for the redirect. So it's a simple style. Get the puck to your defenseman, have him shoot through traffic, hope for a rebound, hope for a deflection, hope for something greasy. But this team is, if you don't have those high percentage shooters, those if you don't have anyone besides a Bedard who can fire the puck productively, then that's how you're going to have to score, is from within that 5 to 10 foot radius of the net.
Yeah, so to your point, Alex Vlasic had 5 shot attempts. Wyatt Kaiser had 1. Alec Martinez had 5.
My math was 18 total shot attempts from the defense.
Yeah, 8 for Seth Jones.
8 shots on goal on 18 total attempts. So it's what Luke Richardson's been wanting to see for a long time. You're seeing that, but eventually, hopefully, that starts translating in the goals. Shots from the point with traffic in front. Usually,
you're going to get results.
You'll start to see it. I don't think there's nothing wrong with the game plan tonight. It was just, got to get more than one. But if you keep being aggressive, if your blue liners keep being aggressive, eventually you'll start getting more. You'll start getting rewarded.
100%. All right, we're gonna hopefully hear from Luke Richardson a little bit more to come on the defenseman firing the puck, which is really a key in what it means and how it differs from last year. Coming up next on CHGO Blackhawks.
Do you guys hear that?
Yes,
that is a venture calling, and you should answer it this October by shopping new low prices during Jeep Adventure Days going on right now at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Stop in today and browse their huge inventory of new vehicles. And right now, shop electric savings.
Ooh, electric shaving.
That's different.
I did that the other day.
Like 0% financing. It's past my bedtime for 72 months on new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4x4 and Wrangler 4xe models. I wonder what
sounds
the
like
E
my
stands
shoes.
For. Oh, E probably stands for
electric.
I guess it all comes together.
Wrangler.
Or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Let the amazing team at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram help you during each step of your car shopping journey. With Ray's Price Promise, the numbers you're hearing now are the same prices you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's Price Promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees. Since I prioritize affordability for their customers, hurry in the Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram today to shop one of the Chicago's largest inventories, then drive home with more money in your pocket than you would expect. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. So many words because they are the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit raycdjr.com. Serving the community since 1963.
And with all the money you save on your Ram, you can get some new flooring in your home with our friends at Empire today, where you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, not the wrong product. That would suck. Quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they're going to have copycats, but Empire cannot be beaten on quality, service, or speed. So go with Empire. They're a Chicago institution. Damn it. Aren't you loyal to Chicago? Come on. They got a virtual floor designer so you can see exactly how these new floors are going to look in your space. You're trying to do your man cave to look like a hockey rink. They could probably do that at Empire. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture and instantly see how the new floors will look in your home. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 discount when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details.
Yeah, the Wrangler 4xe is one of those that can do gas and electric.
Ah,
it's cool.
Very cool.
Is that a hybrid? It's a hybrid.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, cool.
Good to know. I should have researched it before I went with the read.
Maybe you could get
one. You nailed it.
You can get one of your own.
Just burgundy it, man.
All
Whatever it says on the sheet, you read it.
All that electric shaving you do.
Not your job.
Yep. All that electric shaving.
I had a comment from Alan K up a moment ago. He says it's great to see the D shots getting through. Last season, it seemed like every shot Jones took was blocked. I think a part of that is they're not being so cautious with their shots. They're not waiting for the perfect moment. When you wait and wait and wait, all you're doing is allowing defenders to get in position and block the shot. Now they're getting it. They're putting it on net. And look, it's not going to work every time, but it just creates chaos for the other team. If the goalie screened, even if it hits him, he's not really sure where it is. You got traffic in front. You have guys who allegedly can score in front of the net, like Pat Maroon and Tyler Bertuzzi, where that's what they're here for. They're here to poke those tough pucks in. So eventually you think probably it's going to start happening. But I just like the mindset. They came out of this game right away firing. And aside from, the second half of the second period where they're just kind of gassed from killing penalties, they had that approach the whole game.
Yeah, I think last season was still, the group had the mentality of like trying to set up those really pretty, like seamless passing, tic-tac-toe, like trying to set those up kind of plays. And they definitely didn't have the personnel to do any of that. And now this year they have what is supposed to be a better lineup, and they're playing simpler. So theoretically, you continue to have that game plan of playing simpler, more pucks on net, more traffic with guys that have higher skill levels. Those scrambly goals, those second chance goals should be able to, come and have opportunities to capitalize on them. And then by doing that, you put teams on alert that, hey, if puck cycles around, gets to the point, to the defenseman, shots coming through, then they start collapsing on that, so that you do that a few times, and you get guys collapsing on the defenseman. Then that opens up, an opportunity, to the dot or to the center, to the middle of the ice, where a guy might be open because the team is collapsing in to try and block the shot coming in from the defenseman. So, it's a good way to try and set those things up rather than just inherently being like, all right, let's just try and cycle the puck around and find that one opportunity and capitalize on it, because that team was not good enough to do that. This team may be better to try and make that happen, but right off the hop, like, play simple. They're still trying to find that rhythm and chemistry with this, large group of new guys coming in. So plain simple, it'll eventually build upon itself, and I would hope to think that you keep this game plan up, you keep this effort level up. Most nights you're going to be in 1-goal games, whether you're leading or chasing that 1 goal, which is better than being blown out most nights.
Well, when you think about, this is a good strategy to have, and start it in Rockford, because when you think about some of the guys that are playing in Rockford this year, Kevin Korchinski, Lev Shinov, get those guys used to shooting the puck early and often. Mm-hmm. So when they get up here, they can immediately be two-way contributors. I love aggressive defensemen shooting the puck. I think that is just such a simple and effective way to play hockey. Power play or 5-on-5, like, that is, it's kind of old school, and it's simple, and it works. And they keep doing it this way, it will work more nights than it doesn't work. But you get more guys to the net. There were a couple times where on one of the Martinez shots, Wolf gave up a giant rebound, and Dickinson was there, but it was such a hard shot that it bounced over his stick. Right. Like, you'll start getting more of those opportunities, but from a strategy wise, there's not a lot to complain about tonight. It just, you didn't get that second goal. You get that second goal, you go to overtime and anything can happen.
Yeah, and I wonder, how much of a role and how much of an influence Alec Martinez has been on this defensive core, because that's a guy who's always been not only willing to attempt a shot, but really good at getting shots through. Mm-hmm. He's got that ability, and someone up there was talking about Martinez. I forget where it was, but just said it's a shame he's not 27 anymore. I've seen nothing from his game that shows that he's old or slow or out of it. Now, he's been injury prone and those sort of things. It was from Sean. Thank you, Law. That's a concern. They might get banged up, but that's a concern with every hockey player on earth. Right. We saw Philip Kurashev look like he might not come back tonight. But Martinez has been steady and solid, and him and Seth Jones are making a really nice pair.
Well, I was just going to say, in training camp and in preseason, a lot of people were like, including us, we're like, I'm not sure about Martinez and Seth Jones together. Why did you split up Vlasic? But it's been working, because then you get Vlasic, on a second, you spread the wealth a little bit. There's nothing wrong, if you can get away with it, of not having your best two defensemen on the same pairing.
Yeah.
Have that on two separate pairings. But Martinez has been good. And with him and Jones, you've got that added threat of someone who's going to shoot from the back end. And those guys are going to spend a lot of time on the ice with that top line, with Nick Foligno going to the net. It might add, it's going to turn into more points on the board. I mean, look at Jones. He's got 4 assists in 4 games.
Yeah.
5 points. I mean, he's that slow offensive start that we've seen from him since he's arrived is not a thing this year. He's as hot as any offensive player on the team right now, and ride it out as long as you can.
Yeah. Martinez tonight had a 12-4 shots for advantage at all situations tonight. 12-4, 75%. I would say best on the team. I know Mikheyev was 5-1, Anderson was 3-1, but 12-4 as a defenseman, like that's pretty decent. And he's a guy that he had five individual chances for tonight, so he's one got through, shot on goal. So he's active. And
it also means they spent a lot of time playing offense, which is what you want out of that pair.
Exactly.
But you also don't notice him defensively.
Yeah.
Because everything's cool.
Yeah.
And he's very noticeable offensively.
Reliable. Yeah.
That's the thing. Blake says, where do you find those stats? Those are on naturalstattrick.com.
Yes.
It's where we get the bulk of our fancy stats. BJD brings up a good point that I wanted to get to, and we were talking about it during the game. He says Vlasic is covering Brody's ass. Paraphrasing. Not the strongest game for Vlasic, but he has kind of been assigned to be the babysitter to TJ Brody, which I don't love
strange.
that.
Well, as Brody has struggled this year, my biggest issue with TJ Brody is he is just weak on his skates, man. He just gets pushed off and pushed around way too easy for a guy that's got some good size and has played in this league for as long as he has. Like you should know, leverage a little better, but he had some bad plays tonight, but then he made a couple really good plays. There was that play in the third period that Panger, made a point to point out. And so I think that's why he's going to have a longer leash, because you see some of the struggling plays, you see him getting pushed off pucks, but then he has the ability and the smarts to use that stick and break up a pass and then quickly get it out. I don't know. Maybe the home opener, this is where you start making some changes.
I don't know.
Maybe this is where you get Nolan Allen back in. Connor Murphy was really good tonight. He told young Samuel Hunzik, son, this is the NHL. You don't do that here.
Man,
I am not a CHL defenseman. I'm going to ruin your night, and he might not go to bed tonight.
I don't know why the CHL won't let me watch Hawks games. That hit was violent, and they kept showing it over and over again. I'm like, are they speeding that up?
And it's so crazy because it was like Hanzik came in with all the speed, and Murphy just stood his ground. Was just like,
you know what it reminded me of? One of my favorite scenes from Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the guy stands there flipping the sword around, and he just pulls out the gun and shoots him. That's what that was. This young kid, 4 games in the NHL, was like, I'm gonna get you. He's like, sit on you.
It reminded me of young Tommy Boy walking into the sliding door. Oh, son of a! That was definitely the vibe. That hit was. That's going to be on all the NHL commercials and highlight reels that we see throughout the year.
It's like back in the day getting posterized on a slam dunk in the NBA.
That would be on Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em Hockey Volume 9.
That would be on the opening credits for 6 years.
Man, I used to love getting those tapes in the mail every year. Oh man, those were the days when Don Cherry was allowed on television.
Or at least VHS.
Of losing. I had them all on VHS.
Those have got to be available somewhere.
They're got to be. They're on YouTube. They have to be.
I'm sure I'm sure he's. I don't know how. It's weird with the rights though for that footage. It probably expired. He probably can't resell them, or else he'd be out there.
Yeah, I bet.
In front of Maple Leaf Gardens trying to sell them out of his trunk of his car.
It's like the same production company at Girls Gone Wild doesn't show up. You're like, is this actual tape? It was very strange, very cheap, but man, they were fun. Don Cherry, I'm talking about.
It's like he recorded them on his own VCR on TV. And
he's there cutting tape,
morphed them together, and
well, let's get into the lineup change possibilities here in a little bit. We're still awaiting to hear from Luke Richardson. I'm looking at the beat. It doesn't appear he's spoken. Is he speaking right now?
Quotes coming in from Ben Pope.
We need a like spike is what we need.
We can try and see if we get the video from the Blackhawks in time. Otherwise, we can just read these from Ben.
Yeah, we'll save them until we see if we get them. But yeah, like Law said, let's do a like spike. We got to be better than this. We need more likes than Hawks have goals. Okay, let's make sure we spike that like button. Just get in the habit. When you're here, you see Marion Host on the bottom of your screen demanding a like, saying, "Hey, if you give us a like, I got 1 game left in me. Let's go. Hit that like button. Make it happen." Really, if you're wondering why the like matters, it gives us more visibility. The more it's liked, the more it shows up in non-subscribers' feeds, the more people we get to watch, yada, yada, yada. Good stuff. Please, please, please spike that like button. And if you have multiple Gmail accounts, like you might have one for work, one for your job, one for email, one for spam, whatever, you can like it from all of them.
Yeah.
All those email accounts.
Is that legal?
Yes, it's
we
legal.
love it.
Okay.
We love it.
I do 4 a night. I got this one. I got the CHGO email, my Gmail, my Homewood Baseball Board email, and the I'm Fat Podcast email.
Boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
How many times does Steve from Cicero like
I
it?
have not created an email account for him yet. But someday it's coming. I promise you.
Steve from Cicero
from
at
Cicero.
chsn.net.
Yes, exactly right.
Wait, chsn__.net.
There you go.
The double underscores is what makes it really findable. All right, we're going to take a quick time out. We're coming
helps
back.
you get that antenna signal.
Yes. Time to discuss potential changes for Thursday on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. But first, whether it's pro or college, the app to bet football is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game, Circa Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And hey, speaking of the Chicago Sports Network, they're the new home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox games. CHSN will broadcast more than 300 live games per year across the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox, and will feature a lineup of original Chicago-focused content. They are Chicago-based, Chicago-built, and Chicago to the core, and they're bringing it to every corner of Chicago across our great 77 neighborhoods and beyond. At CHSN, Chicago comes first. Visit chsn.com for more info on how to watch the Bulls, Hawks, and Sox games all season long. And after the game, we're here for you.
That's right. Every game.
Notice how it doesn't say, ask the CHGO guys where to find out how to watch us. Just saying.
That's true.
Two letters make a world of difference.
Guys, I have some breaking news.
We have breaking news.
No practice tomorrow.
That's why I did the old fist pump over here. I saw that.
Get a little extra sleep before
need it.
tomorrow's show.
Nice.
By the way, coming up tomorrow at 2:30, we're going to have another PD's video breakdown of Connor Bedard's goal versus Edmonton. I was able to preview it. It's awesome, as always.
Petey's the best.
So don't miss tomorrow's show at 2:30. He can't join us because he's got some other prior commitments, but we'll get him on next week. But
Lame.
he did send us a video breakdown in the meantime.
That will have to do.
Yeah.
He rules.
All right.
I
Let's
watched
talk
it
about
earlier. It's really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. You guys will like it. No need for Blue Chew when you watch that video. Let's talk about the inevitable. Are there roster changes coming? I didn't love Ryan Donato being taken out in the first place. I know you want to get Craig Smith back in. You don't want to punish him for a bad turnover in one game where the whole team pretty much played like ass. But Donato scored the other night. And you're talking about scoring depth. He's like the only guy in the team that's not in that top line or top pairing that has a goal this year. And I'm not saying that you can count on him for a lot of offense, but all the guy does is work his ass off, make the right play, and add an occasional goal. I'll take that the vast majority of 82 games. And I don't know. It felt like kind of a change for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was more of a matchup thing for Luke, but I think Donato gets back in, and the more time goes by and the Hawks struggle to put the puck in the back of the net, at some point Lucas Reichel is going to have to get that look. And would he have been helpful tonight? I don't know, but he's got speed. He can generate some generate some plays, generate some chances. I think at some point you got to give him a look here, and maybe it is the home opener. Who knows?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're looking to continue to kind of tinker with this lineup and find out which trios and duos work well together, that's fine. I'm just wondering where you get them in, because the Mikheyev, Dickinson, Anderson line has been pretty effective. I don't think you really mess with that. Fourth line, sure, you could take Craig Smith back out, put Ryan Donato in. I don't think that's a big issue. I know we're saying like, hey, we kind of need more out of Tyler Bertuzzi, but I'm not necessarily taking him out right now because that feels a little drastic at this point. No one else from your top six is coming out of there. So I just don't exactly know where Lucas Reichel gets in unless you're taking out maybe Smith and Athanasiou. but then your fourth line is Donato, Reichel, Maroon. That
No, here's what I would do.
doesn't work.
We're not going to take Bertuzzi out, but I'm going to take him off that second line. Put Reichel on the second line, put Bertuzzi down with Donato and Maroon, or Donato and Smith.
Okay.
So
I don't hate it.
to me, Bertuzzi's got to give you more. If you're going to be accountable like you say you are, and guys have to earn their spot, right now Bertuzzi's not a top 6 player. Not saying he can't be, and he won't be, but right now, I want to put a little more. If you're going to put Reichel in, you put him with Hall and Kurashev and see what happens.
Is your fear there? I'm just trying to think for Luke. Is the fear there that he's not protected enough defensively? Do you put him with Dickinson and Mikheyev?
Sure, you can. That'd be fine
Joey,
too. But
Joey Anderson goes what, to the fourth line?
Fourth line, or
to
he
me,
sits for Donato?
But
or
Reichel's not a defensive liability.
No,
but is he good enough defensively that you say like that's something we can rely on from him? That then
Can you say
you're
that
putting
about
him
Tyler Bertuzzi
because you're
right now?
you're putting him in to make an offensive jump. So have we seen enough from him defensively that you're like, yeah, he's not a worry at all. He'll focus on his offense and it'll step in and fill the gap of what you're trying to get out of it.
Kurashev plays a two-way game. He's not Anze Kopitar or prime Jonathan Toews by any means, but he does the job. Taylor Hall is willing, but like PD told us the other day, like Taylor Hall's a guy who's out there hunting to get his, and that's part of what made him an MVP and it's part of what made him a great player. Right. He didn't mean it as a criticism, but it's just the way that Taylor Hall plays. And so maybe that's your fear, but like you can always change it if it's not working. You're not like if you put them out there for a couple shifts, you're like, oh my God, Reichel is a disaster out there. He cannot play on this line. Then you figure it out and you sort it out. Or you know what? You play 11 forwards that night and you let Reichel watch from the bench and say, how in the hell did you sit for 4 games, come back in, and still give us nothing? If that happened, that would be a massive problem. A massive problem.
Yeah, that could.
And I don't think the expectation for Reichel is, hey, man, we want you to come out there and get 6 shots on goal and 3 points. And it's just go out there and be a threat offensively. Create some danger. Create some opportunities, because that's what this team is lacking right now. Because, again, we told you the numbers earlier. The Hawks, they were on top in every category. Corsi, Fenwick, shots for. Scoring chances they were ahead in, but high danger chances, they trailed 9-4.
Right.
And there were very few opportunities in this game where you're like, oh man, the Hawks almost scored there, aside from a couple shots from the point that got through. But those aren't considered high danger chances. High danger chances are guy in front, point blank chance, those sort of things. And yeah, they're subjective, of course, but I don't know. I think you just need a little bit more. And he brings something his team lacks big time in speed. And I think he's got more finish than Athanasiou.
Yeah, sure. Doesn't have more speed than him, but what do you trade off?
Well, I would rather have goals than just a guy that can get to the net and does nothing.
I would love for Lucas Reichel to score goals as well.
But you got to play Reichel at some point. Or why is he still with the organization if he's going to be a healthy scratch 82 games a year?
Yeah.
So get him in against San Jose. I mean, if that, again, you sit for the entire road trip, you don't play, you should be fired up, and you're going to play arguably the worst team in the league on home ice, home opener. If that can't get you going to it where you at least, not saying he needs to score a hat trick, but at least be noticeable. That's where the bar is right now.
Yeah.
Be noticeable.
Yeah.
For a game or two. And then we'll all be like, hey, did you see that?
Right.
He played last night. It shouldn't be that difficult at this point. Get him in there. I mean, the Hawks aren't going to practice tomorrow, so we won't know till Thursday morning. But, you got to play him at some point, and home opener against the Sharks seems like a really good chance to get him in there. It's not against Vancouver. It's not against, Dallas or Nashville. It's against the freaking Sharks.
Yeah. That is the most insulated way to get him in the lineup is against the Sharks.
Yeah.
That's the team in the league you probably fear the least, aside from New Oilers.
We don't play them again until January.
I know. It has to happen at some point. Luke sort of said the other day, we're going to have to decide here about a plan, concepts of a plan to get him in or extend him down. And that was it was pretty much not, he was not dismissing that idea that Reichel could go to Rockford before he gets in the game.
I think that was in regards to both he and Allen.
Allen, right. Yeah. But I mean, if they don't play him through 5 games, what's he doing here?
Sure. Yeah. It's a fair question. But I think if you want to get him into the lineup, it's going to take some. It's more than one guy in, one guy out. It's tinkering with, the second, third, and fourth lines to figure out where he fits in. So if they want to do that, I mean, if you're going to do that and you're only going to get a morning skate out of it ahead of Thursday's game, makes me think that that's less likely to make a change with just a morning skate to kind of have those kinds of shifts going on. I would think if they were thinking of making, multiple lineup changes through lines, through getting guys in and out, that you would do it with a practice and then a morning skate to get a little bit of extra time, but we'll see. But again, like I think, from a wider view of it, I wouldn't say that this lineup is still calling for like big changes to it, because I still think as a whole you got a pretty good effort tonight, and there's just like some small tweaks that in the game that can be made to kind of like give the Blackhawks a little bit more of an advantage. So again, like I said, like I don't feel like you're at a point where you need to hit a panic button with anything and tinker with each line. But I mean, if you are going to do it in Game 5 rather than Game 65.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a panic situation, but I think you just look at this thing and say, okay, most of our first 4 games have been pretty positive. The first period in Utah, throw it out. Second half of this game, or second half of the second period of this game, you're gassed because of penalty killing. Especially like that Bedard penalty to start it was completely ticky-tack.
Right.
There's like nothing there. And then you get the second one right on the tail end after giving up the goal. You're just done there, and things have been okay. But if there's one thing that's missing, it's the ability to finish and speed. And I think Lukas Reichel is worth another look, because if they're not going to play him, and Shep said earlier in the chat, like maybe they're just holding out and maybe they're going to trade him and they don't want to play him to get him hurt, but he's got no value. Like if you're going to trade him, he's got to get in the lineup and show something before he has any trade value.
Probably why Anthony Seaves has been playing. Like, go out and score some goals so we could get something for you. Like, you're not going to – no one's giving you much of anything for Lukas Reichel to begin with, and nobody's giving you anything for Lukas Reichel who hasn't played a game in 3 weeks.
And Sean says Reichel is the last one of those Bowman first-rounders that had no business being drafted at that position. It's probably coming to an end soon. Maybe. I mean,
got a 2-year deal. He got a 2-year deal this summer from Kyle Davidson, not Stan Bowman.
See, but that's what's crazy
that tells
about that,
me
though,
that he still thinks there's something there. So.
But he's got to play. And I know that it's Luke Richardson's job to build a lineup, and it should be. I don't want Kyle Davidson tinkering with the lineup. I don't want him calling down to Luke and saying, these are the lines for tonight. That creates a toxic environment. It's not his job.
Yeah.
And he would say so as well. But it feels like there's a little bit of a disconnect on Lukas Reichel between the coach and the GM. Maybe there's not. I don't know. It's a good deal. Maybe it's a bet that Lukas Reichel figures it out this year, and then next year that looks like a fantastic deal. You just don't know until he plays.
It's just, to me, it's hard to go from here's a 2-year prove-it deal to we're going to waive you and trade you in 5 games into a season. That's a really quick jump to make.
And if there was a situation where a GM and Kyle Davidson are talking about Lukas Reichel, it's not going to be a is it a first or a second? I think at this point, looking at the way Richardson obviously feels about Reichel, I'm not going to say that Davidson will take anything for him, but it's not going to take much to pry Lucas Reichel away from the Hawks if they really want him. So I don't think that they're just sitting him to protect an asset, because right now he's not much of an asset.
No, he's got to. No, I think this. I think this comes down to the little things in his game being focused on and being hammered down, and then building from there to where those bigger productivity can start getting there. I agree. I think giving him a 2-year deal this offseason was a little bit of, we believe you can be better than what you've shown. Here's some runway to show it. But I think sitting the first 4 games of this season and not really having an easy way to get into the lineup is a product of, and I go back to what Luke Richardson said about Reichel earlier in training camp in the preseason, is that we've kept telling him the same things, and it's on the player to implement those things into his game. So to me, it seems like, yes, he got the 2-year deal to get some runway to be like, hey, show that you're a different guy than what you've shown in the last season. And this training camp and preseason was, from what Richardson said, I take it as it's more of the same, and it's not good enough.
Every preseason game was another blank space,
Right.
baby. Just a bunch of
So,
zeros.
I mean, how can he show you he's implementing what you're telling him if he's not playing?
No, I also agree. I just think that I don't think that they are, if they're not going to play him, it's going to be hard to try and move him. But if you're not playing him and you're not trying to move him, then he's got to play somewhere, and he's not, waiver exempt. But again, I feel like if you're going to send him to Rockford, I don't think there's a huge market for people to try and scoop him up right now. And if he were to get sent down to Rockford, get him some playing time. We're seeing it with, Korchinski and letting him, kind of figure out things at that level. Maybe Reichel needs to go back and figure things out at that level again so that he can eventually come back up. I don't know.
BJD says if he's worthless, you can waiver him and he still has a deal for next year. Worthless and no trade value are different. I think at this point, I mean, if you want to trade him for a 5th rounder, you probably could. If you waive him, you run the risk of being traded. I think our point is, I think he's still at the point where you want to at least give him the chance to prove that he's got some value. And if he does play like he did at the end of the year 2 years ago, God, just saying that sounds ridiculous, but really, that was the flash we had, was that 15, 20 game span where he looked, oh God, he's arrived. Here he is. And we haven't seen it since, but I that's in there somewhere. It's in there. Like, we've seen it. We've seen it happen.
Look at the 2020 draft class. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not comparing Lucas Reichel to any of these guys as players.
Yeah.
But he's got, his next game will be his 100th in the league. Look at someone else. These guys. Look at the number 1 overall pick of that draft class, Alexis Lafreniere. Finally put it together at the second half of last season.
Yeah.
260 games into his career. And now they're talking 8-year, $8 million for him. He's played over 300 games.
Yeah.
It took him 250 of those games to finally get it going. Quentin Byfield's another one who, up until, he
Last
played
year.
well over 150 games before it started clicking. Some of these other guys from here, Alexander Holtz is a guy that hasn't, figured it out yet. Marco Rossi, putting it together for Minnesota, but he's just got over 100 games. So you look at some of these guys, Seth Jarvis, it took him 150 games before he really put it together. I'm not saying Lucas Reichel is going to be any of those guys, but it took the best players from that draft class multiple seasons before they finally got it going.
And COVID played a big role in that.
Yeah.
It stunted the development of a lot of those guys.
Man,
So
all choked up about Lucas Reichel.
well, let's get choked up about Luke Richardson. He is standing by, in air quotes. Here's what Luke had to say after the game, courtesy of our friends at the Chicago Blackhawks.
Well, I thought we played a pretty good game, the first half of the game especially. We didn't give them hardly really anything much. And then we got into some penalty trouble, and they scored on the power play. And I thought we were just a little bit disconnected after that, like just trying to chase it a little bit, just not playing simple, just getting pucks behind them and shooting pucks. We're just a little reluctant to shoot pucks, I think, looking for a better play. And they're a good defending team, and they get in your way if you don't shoot right away. So I thought we gave up a little bit of offense in that area the second half of the game.
It seems like the game kind of turned after those consecutive penalties to create the 6-on-4. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, we spend time killing, and then some guys play a little bit too much at that time. Some guys don't get to play, get out of sync, and then I thought we were just out of sync 5-on-5 after that a little bit. Just not making the right reads, and then playing simple, getting it behind him, like I said, and shooting the puck more. That's how we scored our goal.
How would you assess the road trip overall? It's tough to only get one win, but you were in all 4 games.
Yeah, no, I thought the guys played hard. They worked hard. They worked hard tonight. I just thought maybe the second half of the game we started to show a little bit of fatigue on the road, and but that's the schedule. Everybody's got 82 games and is going to do this at some point. So I thought it would have been great to come out of this road trip with another point or two, but we have to look at the good things that we did and build off of them, and correct a few of the things that, like I said, like shooting mentality a little bit more when things aren't going our way, and creating a little bit more offense off that and that'll open up more of the fancier stuff too.
I know you guys don't like moral victories, but this Flames team is averaging 5.3 goals to lead the league, and you held them to 3 goals in 1 game string.
Yeah, no, I thought our play was pretty good, especially the first half of the game. Like I said, we didn't really give up too much other than maybe that first goal in the first period. Other than that, not a lot of great chances. So we worked hard. We were in the right spots. And then after that, I think we just started to come apart. Like I said, the 5-man unit wasn't as tight defensively and didn't work as well offensively on the other end.
And then going home, how do you feel about finally getting your home opener?
Yeah, well, I like how we're playing. It's still early in the season. We still have to work on some things to get better, to score more goals, create more opportunities offensively, and still stay tight as we are defensively. And I think if we could stay out of that box just a little bit less, if we keep it 2 or less a night, that's asking a lot. But usually that means you're moving your feet more and you're not reaching and having to take stick penalties, and that'll give us a little bit more momentum 5-on-5.
All right, there's Luke Richardson. Thanks to the Blackhawks for using that, for use of that audio. We've got to do the 4-star. We've got to do the winner of Who's Your Hawk. But real quick, as we talk about development here, Calgary Flames goaltender Dustin Wolf had been the best goalie in the AHL for the last 100 years.
Seems like MVP.
Yeah. Just like putting up astronomically great numbers in the American Hockey League, and just waited and waited and waited. Got a couple sniffs here and there. But
they were also paying Jacob Markstrom an absurdly amount of money to be underachieved there. But yeah, that's especially at that position. That's how you do it.
Yeah,
goalies.
And someone in the chat way earlier, don't look for it, Law. I forgot who it was from or when it happened, but said that Wyatt Kaiser is really the great, like the development story for the Hawks. It's a guy we haven't really talked about today, but just another strong game, strong in the puck, good move in the puck. Good skater. He's kind of got everything. And interesting note, I didn't know. Maybe you guys knew this. I didn't. He changed to a shorter stick last year when he went to Rockford, and it kind of impacted everything. Pretty cool. It's interesting. I like little stuff like that he just felt maybe it helps him stick handle in close or control the puck better. But, man, he just looks so good, and you could see why the Hawks had the confidence to say, you're going to miss the whole preseason, but you're ready to go. Let's go. You're in the lineup. And I don't think Wyatt Kaiser's looking back. I think he is an NHL player.
Yeah, I mean they had a belief in him, and when he went down last season and then came back up, like he was a changed player. That's what that's what Kyle Davidson's pointed at is Wyatt Kaiser's development, Alex Vlasic's development is why they feel like giving these younger players opportunities to kind of work out their first steps into the professional hockey leagues in Rockford is a good way of doing it, rather than throwing them to the wolves in the NHL. I know now with Korchinski, you're hoping that he follows that path of Vlasic and Kaiser, where they got tastes of the NHL and then went down to Rockford and could work on some of the finer points of their game, building up their confidence, building up just those repetitions of doing the right things, so that when you get up to the NHL, you have that muscle memory of doing the right things in those situations, rather than getting into those situations as a raw player in the NHL and maybe panicking in the situations, or just trying to survive in those situations rather than thriving. So yeah, I mean, Kaiser is definitely, I would say, a success story of that development path. Vlasic is as well, and both those guys had pretty solid games tonight. And with Kaiser, I think, yeah, like you said, like, he is establishing himself as, like, he's in the lineup. Like, I'm not worried about him on a game-to-game basis. He's not someone I'm looking at as like, oh, if we need to change something on the back end, who comes out? Like, not looking at Wyatt Kaiser.
Yeah, that's not even a consideration for me.
No.
None. All right, before we get to the winner of Who's Your Hawk, do us a favor and hit that like button. It's the last time I will ask tonight, I promise, but we want to get those likes up before we sign off for the evening. All right, what do we got, Law?
You want to end the poll and see who the chat's 4-star is first?
Sure, let's do that.
Sure.
All right. Well, the chat's 4th star of the game, with 53% of the vote.
Big win.
That's the majority.
It is none other than the one and only Seth Jones.
Hey, how about that?
How about that? Yeah.
Seth Jones getting some love.
Have we turned a corner on Seth Jones on this show?
No.
We've not.
I would like to
No.
think we can turn that corner pretty quickly here.
I wish we did. I wish I could say that, but just wait till the next game where he's on the ice for a bad goal against, and it will be right back where we started. But good for Seth Jones. Had the primary assist on the lone goal. We talked about his aggressiveness, shooting 4 shots on goal on 8 attempts. Also had 2 block shots. So and did it in 25 minutes and 25 seconds of ice time.
Very Seth Jonesy game,
including 3 minutes and 25 seconds on the penalty kill. So yes, very Seth Jones kind of game there.
3rd highest rated player in the game.
Yep.
I don't know. It just when a guy plays 26 minutes a night, there are going to be moments where it's not perfect. I just, but I guess that's what's expected when you make $9 million. Perfection. So
someone earlier said that he's actually almost looking like a $9 million player right now.
Almost.
I think
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
8.5.
The market will come back down to that contract to where you're gonna be like, oh, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Just like, back in the day when people were like, I can't believe the Blackhawks are paying Corey Crawford $6 million a year, and 2 years later, like, man, that's a steal.
Yeah, right.
he's underrated.
The market will adjust itself, and all of a sudden you're gonna be like, Seth Jones, $9 million. That's not terrible.
I remember when Corey Crawford was the whipping boy for Blackhawks fans. That was a fun time.
Yeah, my Facebook memories are not kind to Corey Crawford from 2012.
We should have brought those up when we had him on the show last year.
I did. I think.
finally get to tell you this, Corey.
I think I
In
did.
2012, I said you sucked.
I think did I? I'm gonna have to go back and listen to
I
it,
don't
but I
remember
think I
that.
said something like that.
Well, you could tell
I don't
Brian Bickel he sucks when we talked to him ahead of his.
yeah,
interview.
I'll have to dig through some of my old tweets, see if I ever hated
I'm
on
gonna have
Bickle.
to regret retweeting that did Brian Bickel score tonight account, and every night would just be no.
No.
And I retweeted it every night.
It's all right. They got a cup. He had a massive goal, and
I
that's
was
what
a
matters.
gigantic Brian Bickel defender for the first 2 years of that contract, and then even I couldn't stick around for it. But
Well,
then
the first,
hindsight is always
Tavo,
the
20/20.
first 2 years of that contract produced a second cup for him.
That's right. All right. Who's your Hawk? Who do we got, Greg?
I don't know, guys and stuff and things. It wasn't a very high scoring night.
Me.
That's for sure.
I won.
Who
But
cares?
yes, we'll edit it out in post. Connor Bedard with his massive 3.5
Hey,
points tonight.
Hey now.
Tavo Teravainen 1.5, and Taylor Hall, my pick, just a point. So
3.5 gets it done for some people.
Pass it over.
And who's your
there you
Hawk?
go.
Yeah. Wear this
But
plastic.
the season standings, as we see,
We don't need to talk about those. That's
Jay
fine.
is
I think the
still
graphics deleted, so
still.
not much we can do about it.
Jay hasn't gotten out of the blocks just yet. Hey, good news is
I get first pick again?
for the 5th time in a row.
5 straight first-round picks.
The whole idea was having first pick was supposed to help you get out of the cellar.
That's
Well,
if Jay offers, she
I'm on the fence between Bedard and Seth Jones for the next game. I'll let you know game day.
Well, no, you gave out the stats. How are you not taking Tyler?
Yeah, you got to
Bertuzzi
take
next
Tyler
game?
Bertuzzi.
That's true. That's a good point. Game 5 stud. We'll see. I don't know. It's up in the air, but I don't think it's going to be Bertuzzi. Sven reminds us that Bickle was diagnosed with MS. Geez, yes, we know that now.
Hence why I said hindsight is
Oh.
2020.
We didn't know it
Thanks,
when he was
Sven.
making a lot of money and not performing.
Right.
I didn't know that from 7 years ago.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you know.
Appreciate
Anyway, all right. Well, that was disappointing.
Yeah. But you know what?
It happens.
It's not bad to be disappointed because that means you had expectations.
That's true.
And it's nice to have expectations.
Yeah, the
again.
expectation isn't, as the team has said, Seth Jones and Nick Foligno have both said, like, this is not a team that is taking away moral victories. They want actual victories. And I think as a fan base, we can agree with that. We want actual victories. The effort level being there for 60 minutes should be the baseline. And through these 4 games, I'd say for the most part, that has been the case.
Yep. You're disappointed because you expected them to win and they didn't. When was the last time you could say that?
2016.
When Brian Bickle was on the team.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap things up. We are going to be back tomorrow afternoon, 2:30. Reminder, we've got the Bedard goal breakdown from our pal Petey, so don't miss that. And lots of other stuff to get into on tomorrow's show as well, so don't miss it.
League.
Yeah, we'll look
Around the league day. We can make fun of the Avalanche and the Oilers and all kinds of teams that are worse than the Hawks for
Those
now.
teams that don't have
Oilers,
3
I
points.
know the Oilers tied it up tonight.
No, I think
No, they have not.
I think Philly took the lead again.
It's still in the
Did they get another goal waved
Shout
off?
out to PHLI.
still 3-2 halfway through the third.
2 goals for Mitchkov, by the way.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, first 2 of his career. So congrats to him. All right, we'll talk to everybody on Wednesday at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.